Good morning, everyone. I'm Meteorologist Longwith with Dynamic Weather Agency LLC. Today, we're going to be talking about that next upcoming major winter storm, more about where and how much snowfall you can expect with this system a little bit later on in this video. And due to some of the things I've been seeing on the internet over the last couple of days, I do want to touch a little bit on this potential, and I want to put an emphasis on the word potential push or surge of some of this cold to Arctic air that we can see on the later half of this month. More about that a little bit later on in this video too. But before we could get any further with today's video, hit that like button down below and subscribe to our channel. Also share this page and this video with your friends and family. Be sure to check us out on social media and our website, dynamicweatheragency.com. You can find the links down below in the description. If you also would like to support this channel and help me make more weather-related content like this, or to see more storm chasing videos like you can see down below, be sure to check out our Patreon page where we have Patreon packages ranging all the way from $1 to $20. You can see some of the perks we have out there for you guys by visiting our Patreon page. Again, the link for that is going to be down below in the description. Now, as we take a look at our current national radar, we do have this nice area of low pressure that's located off the Carolina and mid-Atlantic coast, with some of this moisture wrapping around that's bringing some of that precipitation as we see in South Carolina, North Carolina this morning. And then we have some of those snow showers occurring in parts of those higher elevations in the Appalachian mountain region. As we move into West Virginia and to southern Ohio, again, we're seeing some light snow showers this morning with some of that moisture wrapping around this low pressure system. As we move off into the Central Plains region, taking a look at Nebraska and Kansas, we have some light snow showers occurring this morning. And then as we move across into the Northwest, again, as we've been mentioning in some of our previous videos, we do have some of those strong upper level winds that are slamming into parts of the West Coast. That's bringing some of these rain showers and some of this mountain snow to the area. So before I go any further into today's video, I do have to warn you guys about other YouTube pages and Facebook pages you might see up on the internet. These pages are just basically looking for likes and shares, and I'm going to give you guys, the truth straightforward. These pages are ran by people who are not meteorologists, unlike myself, claiming all these, upcoming major winter systems, these big blasts of polar vortex air and stuff like that. Now, this system is going to be a major winter storm, but how other people meet their criteria is a little bit different. Some people just call everything a major winter storm if it just snows just a little bit. Unfortunately, that's not how you do this stuff, and you got to look at other things and see what the definition of what is an actual major winter storm. And we can find that information by just looking at the WSSI indexes that we show, the winter severity indexes that we show a little bit later on in our videos. And not only that, this polar vortex. If when we begin to talk about this in this video, there is signs and signals there that we could potentially see this disruption of our polar vortex and leaking some of that cold air into the United States. But when you hear about how far out this event actually is, over 2 weeks out from today, that's just, mind-blowing that we are trying to forecast something that far out. Because we all know, you guys, when you guys watch your local weatherman on TV, you guys typically don't, believe anything he says past, 7 days or even past the next couple of days, because they typically get the weather information wrong. And we'll go into this just, a little bit. I'm not going to touch so much into this because, weather models past 300, past 72 hours start becoming very unreliable. And, we're talking about 360 some hours, 380 some hours into the GFS and European run and the ensemble runs and stuff like that for this, polar vortex, and we're on the very tail end of that. We can only see this just a couple model runs. We only have a couple model runs to look and compare this to. And it's just not reliable or feasible at this time to be forecasting this. Now, I have my best thoughts, my best chance through experience, seeing events like this before and stuff like that with my years of experience forecasting. I've gone to school. I've done this stuff. I worked as a private consultant forecaster for a couple of years, and now I work as a forecaster for the Air Force and just do YouTube, during my spare time. I graduated from Ball State University with 2 degrees, one in professional meteorology and climatology and one in Geographic Information Systems with an emphasis on weather. While I was at Ball State, I also took part in helping Ball State become a StormReady campus. That was part of my duties as being part of the director of the Ball State Storm Chase team for 2 years. You can see me Right here on the image to the right, this is me on a storm chase trip with the Ball State Storm Chase team in northern Illinois, chasing a tornadic supercell thunderstorm. I also received the David Odom Award for my excellence in service in Meteorology and Climatology. I'm a professional storm chaser. You can find my footage on Good Morning America, the Weather Channel, and on the Weather Channel's TV series World's Wildest Weather that plays at night. You can see me on there as an expert witness doing stuff for the Kokomo tornado. You can also find my footage also on many other local national news and media agencies. Talking about this upcoming polar vortex, if you want to call it that, really. Basically, we're pretty much going to see this surge of cold air, possible surge of Arctic air. Now, I did outline a region that I think this can happen in, but it's very hard to determine, as we only have a couple runs of each model so far, because we're looking at the very tail ends of our models over 300 hours out. We're basically looking at 2 weeks away. This is late January that we're expecting this. We're basically expecting this to happen. Starting to see some signals basically start on the 17th and 18th with this cold air moving in on maybe the 22nd, 23rd of January, so near the end of this month. And if you guys watched, the weather on your TV, it's hard for us to get weather right 7 days out. We're talking about 2 weeks out. That's crazy. For people to already be, talking about this and, accepting this as truth already, with only just a couple model runs able to pick this up. First thing we're going to look at, though, for some of the signals. Now, I'm going to say there is signals there for this, but how impactful is this going to be? Are we going to see that much of a push of a cold air? That is, big questions. Where is this all going to set up and stuff like that? But we're going to take a look at our AO, which is our Arctic oscillation. This is a teleconnection. Mostly we're going to worry about this first box up here. As we take a look at our Arctic oscillation, I want you guys to mostly focus on this top box we have up here. And as we take a look back at November, we saw positive AO values, and as we moved into December, this became negative. We saw negative Arctic oscillation values as we saw some of these more colder air moving in with some of these low pressure systems and stuff like that. But as we take a look at our forecasted Arctic oscillation, we see this increase of our Arctic oscillation for a short period of time. But as we get into around the 16th of this month, just a few days before that, you can see this nice dip in this Arctic oscillation right here. And this is going to be due to something that we're going to take a look at on the next slide. That's going to basically cause this disruption of this polar air. So next thing we're going to look at is our 10 hectopascal temperatures. Now we're looking pretty much all the way up in our stratosphere. And what we're going to be seeing beginning on the 17th and 18th is, you see kind of over Russia, we have this area of really warm temperatures. And this is something that we call sudden stratospheric warming. Over that period from basically the 16th to the 18th, mostly on the 17th and 18th of January, we're going to see sudden stratospheric warming over Russia. And what this does, it will disrupt the polar vortex. And this is going to cause the slowing of the stratospheric winds, which is going to allow some of this, air to sink. And as it sinks, is going to continue to warm over the region. This is then going to weaken the polar vortex in the troposphere, allowing it to move and shift, which is why we're going to call this disruption of this polar vortex. And basically, this big sudden stratospheric warming events also correlate to boosts in odds for certain types of weather. In particular, cold extremes across parts of much of northern Europe into Asia and parts of the eastern United States. And then we also see some warmer temperatures normally in parts of the Canadian Arctic and parts of the subtropical portions of Asia. And with this, we don't have that much to look at. We can look at our ensembles and our AO trends for our Arctic oscillation. We can look for the stratospheric warming. We can look for 500 millibar or 850 millibar height and temperature anomalies. And of course, our 2 meter temperature anomalies. And again, we're looking at a model that is 360 hours out for 1 a.m. January 23rd. 2 weeks out, guys. This is over 2 weeks out. And like I said, you're probably not going to trust your weatherman over a week out. Are you really going to choose someone without a degree telling you the weather over 2 weeks out? We do see those hints of that cold air pushing into the northern Great Plains, even into parts of the upper Midwest. But will this shift to the east? Will this shift further to the west? Will this dive further to the south? We don't know how strong that stratospheric warming is going to be. We don't know how much of a disruption to the, polar vortex we're going to see. Guys, this is something we're going to have to monitor. We're going to have to continue to watch model trends, and we're going to have to, look at this closely as we get closer to, a week out, when the models become better, as we get into the range of some more of the higher resolution models and stuff like that. All right, guys. So don't take everything you guys see on the internet and just start blasting it and taking it as truth. Now, as we take a look at our regional forecast, today we're seeing some snowfall up in Maine as we move down into the Mid-Atlantic and the Tennessee Valley region, Carolinas and Piedmont region, Piedmont Valley region, Carolinas. Expect rain conditions today, snowfall conditions continuing to occur in parts of the Appalachian mountain regions and those higher elevations. As we take a look at the Northwest, rain along the West Coast, mountain snow in parts of, Washington and Oregon. See some of that mountain snow with Mount Olympus. Some snowfall and heavy snowfall expected over the next 72 hours in parts of Oregon and even into parts of Idaho. And then we're going to see the development of our next low pressure system. It's going to be across parts of the southwest U.S. and parts of the south central plains, beginning to bring snowfall to parts of, Colorado, New Mexico, even into parts of Texas, with some rain conditions further to the south. As we take a look at our current National Weather Service's hazards, we do have some winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, of course, in parts of that, Appalachian Mountain region, Mid-Atlantic, Tennessee Valley. And we have some winter storm watches already in effect for parts of Texas. And I believe some of these have already been extended into parts of New Mexico as this graphic needs to be updated. So we have that winter storm watch in effect for portions of Texas. Like I said, I think this got also extended further into parts of New Mexico already. Basically, a strong storm system is going to be expected to move over New Mexico Saturday night, spreading its way, Sunday into parts of the southern plains region. Basically, forecast snowfall amounts across this region could be anywhere from 4 to 8 inches for this event. Could see some isolated higher amounts, but expect to see some of those higher areas mostly around 6 inches of snow. With this system, we could see some travel impacts. Could make for some very difficult road conditions. The road could be slick and due to some of those accumulating snowfall amounts across the area. As we move again to some of the snow that's occurring today across parts of the Tennessee Valley region, parts of the Mid-Atlantic, we have those winter storm warnings already in effect today. This is going to be due to some additional snow accumulation today of 3 to 6 inches, with 8 to 10 inches possible in some of those higher elevation ridges of the Appalachian Mountain regions. Again, this is going to cause some impacts with some difficult travel conditions and hazardous conditions continuing to impact parts of the morning and evening commute today. Falling temperatures tonight into the 20s could cause some slippery road conditions to persist well into the weekend following this storm system. Taking a look at our WSSI, day 1 overall winter storm impacts, we have minor and moderate impacts affecting parts of the Tennessee and Mid-Atlantic region today, with some of that snowfall occurring in parts of the Appalachian Mountain region. As we move into day 2, this is tomorrow, we see some of those minor and moderate impacts begin to increase across parts of southern Colorado into parts of New Mexico as that new system begins to move through. And then as we move into day 3, we can see some of those minor to moderate and even some isolated areas of some major impacts with this next system affecting parts of New Mexico and Texas. So as we take a look at our European model for the next 72 hours, this is from 1 a.m. today to 1 a.m. on the 11th. We can see down in Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, see that nice swath of heavy snowfall down there. See some of that mountain snow in the northwest, some of that snowfall occurring today in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region and Tennessee Valley. But mostly we're going to focus on about our system down here affecting parts of Texas and New Mexico. You can see that nice swath of 5 to basically 8 inches of snow affecting parts of Texas, even stretching into parts of eastern New Mexico. As we move in to take a look at the GFS, GFS is forecasting less snowfall across the region. You see the track is pretty similar. Both of them are expecting some of that mountain snow up in the northwest. You do see some of that little bit of snowfall occurring in parts of the mid-Atlantic today. GFS, a lot less snowfall. But as we take a look at other models like the NAM model, this is again looking at 8 a.m. today. 1 a.m. today to 1 a.m. on the 11th. Again, you're seeing some of that mountain snow in the northeast. A lot heavier snowfall across Texas. You also see that this event is also moving a lot faster according to the NAM model. NAM model being more of an outlier right now with this, but we do see some of that heavier snowfall that we're expecting by the National Weather Service with some of those, those additional 3 to 6 inches of snowfall with some of that 8 to 10, some of those higher elevations in the Appalachian Mountain region. The NAM model is picking that part up right there over the Mid-Atlantic. So we take a look at the National Weather Service's blend of models. Again, this is closely resembling more to that European model with a little bit lower on the snowfall totals across Texas. But again, the National Weather Service's blend of models is doing a rather good job with this, following the same track of kind of that European, which the European model is pretty superior when it comes to winter snowfall forecasting. Do you expect to see the National Weather Service blend of models to increase on the snowfall totals across parts of Texas? We do see those high snowfall totals across the Mid-Atlantic today and Tennessee Valley region. As we take a look at the National Weather Service's gridded forecast product, this is National Weather Service's actual forecast for the next 72 hours. This is from 12Z today to 12Z on the 11th. You can see they're starting to pick up on some of that swath of that 5 to 8 inches of snow beginning to accumulate across parts that will accumulate, not begin, that will accumulate across parts of New Mexico and Texas as we move into the next couple of days. So taking a look at our high resolution Doppler radar, we can see today we have that snowfall that's occurring across parts of the Tennessee and Mid-Atlantic region. That low pressure system is going to continue to move off the East Coast as we go throughout the day, and it's going to continue to push its way off into the Atlantic and moving its way off into the north and to the east. As we continue to look at the northwest, we do see some of that rain and precipitation. We see some of that mountain snow occurring today, even as we go into parts of tomorrow into the morning hours. We see some of that snowfall beginning to push its way to the south and to the east. Well, that's going to be due to that upper level trough that's beginning to move in with this energy. What that's going to do, that's going to help develop this low pressure system that we're going to see across parts of the south central U.S. Now we'll see this low pressure system begin to develop over there in this trough region. You can see that snowfall as we get into the early morning hours of Sunday at midnight, just a little past midnight. You can see some of that snowfall occurring across parts of Colorado, New Mexico, even into parts of western Texas. And as we get earlier into the morning hours, as you go into like your morning commutes in the early morning, you see that snowfall stretching further into central Texas, moving its way out of Colorado. And as we go throughout the day on Sunday, you can see that system beginning to stretch its way across Texas into the early late afternoon, early evening hours. And then as we move into Monday morning, the system begins to move out, beginning to bring some snowfall possibly to parts of, Louisiana and Arkansas as we move into Monday. They have lowered some of that snowfall totals across parts of the Appalachian Mountain region for today. Just because, again, this is from 12 Zulu to 12 Zulu. If we look at their 6 Zulu to 6 Zulu on the 11th, we would see some of those higher snowfall totals in the Appalachian Mountain region as this begins to move out. This is one of our in-house models for the next 72 hours. Again, you can see that nice swath of heavy snow that we're expecting across parts of New Mexico and to Texas. See, it's right around that 5 to 8 inches snow range. As we take a closer look, zooming in parts of New Mexico and Texas, you can see a better look at that swath of that 5 to 8 inches of snow. Las Vegas, you can see up to 6 inches of snow with this event. Lubbock, Texas, and Plainview, 6 inches of snow. La Mesa, Snyder, 5 inches of snow. Abilene, 4 inches of snow. Amarillo, 3 inches of snow. Roswell, New Mexico, also could see 3 inches of snow with this next upcoming major winter storm. As we take a look at our hand-drawn snowfall analysis, this is what we think is going to happen for this event for the next 72 hours. Again, this is going to eventually stretch its way further into parts of eastern and central Texas, and as it begins to make its northeastward track as we begin to update this graphic over the next couple of days. So expect to see possibly some higher snowfall total amounts with this event in some of these areas further to the east. Again, I would like to thank you guys for checking out today's video. If you have any weather-related pictures, you'd like to send them to us on our social media pages. We love to share those on upcoming videos. Also, be sure to like this video down below, subscribe to our channel, share this video with your friends and family. I am Meteorologist James Longwith with Dynamic Weather Agency signing out. You guys have a great day.